I shall now make a statement in my capacity as representative of the Russian Federation. Ladies and gentlemen, we would like to thank the Special Envoy of the Secretary General, Geir Pedersen, for his report, and would like to thank everyone who took the floor for their assessment and considerations. The Security Council has considered the issues of the political settlement in Syria on many occasions, but the meeting we're having today is a special one. We are meeting for the first time at a time where we can state with satisfaction that we now have the real preconditions in order to start and move forward towards a lasting and fair settlement of the Syrian crisis in the interest of all Syrians without exceptions. As was just confirmed to us by the Special Envoy, Geir Pedersen, the work on forming the Constitutional Committee has been fully completed. And of course, this is a major accomplishment for the international community as a whole. Let me simply recall here that the idea of the Constitutional Committee was adopted at a meeting of the Syrian National Dialogue Congress in Sochi in 2018, and the Congress represented all strata of the Syrian society. We agree with Geir Pedersen when he says that the creation of the committee is not an end in itself, but the beginning of a long road. And many today have stated that. The Syrians have to themselves agree on the parameters of the future of their country. Let me also recall here the key principle of such work on their part. It is enshrined in Resolution 2254 of the Security Council, and it consists of the following. The political process is to be led and implemented by the Syrians themselves. We welcome the intent to hold the first meeting of the Constitutional Committee in Geneva at the end of October. Russia, together with Iran and Turkey, has contributed decisively into the composition and the rules of procedure. The guarantor countries worked very closely with the Syrian parties, the government and the opposition, and also coordinated their efforts very closely with the Secretary General Guterres and the Special Envoy Pedersen. Russia will continue in future helping with the launch and consistent work of the Constitutional Committee. And such statements have already been made by the distinguished representative of Turkey in Iran. At the same time, I would like to say that the guarantor countries of the Astana formats will work on the basis of strict compliance with the principles of sovereignty, independence, unity, and territorial integrity of Syrian Arab Republic. The presidents of three countries have stated that very firmly in the course of the 5th Tripartite Summit in Ankara on the 6th of September. We will continue international high-level meetings on Syria in the Astana format. Next to such meeting is to take place in the capital of Kazakhstan in the near future. We think that all of us have to very carefully safeguard the intra-Syrian dialogue, which is to start in Geneva in the end of October. We have no doubts that the Syrians, who represent one of the oldest and most unique countries of the Middle East, with age-old traditions of peaceful coexistence between ethnic and religious groups, will be able to themselves come up with mutually acceptable solutions. And they also have the necessary expert potential to arrive at that. We are convinced it is unacceptable to try and interfere in inter-Syrian dialogues, to impose on them formulas which are incompatible with their cultural, religious, and national traditions. It is also unacceptable to state artificial timelines or to come up with demands for concessions addressed to only one side. And this will be the position of the Astana format. The Astana format, which remains ready to continue constructively cooperate with the Syrians in coordination with the UN. And we invite everyone who is genuinely interested in peace returning to Syria to join our efforts. It was said that it was strange that the representative of Iran is here with us. I think it was strange to have heard those words. Iran, as a member of the Astana Troika, has done a lot to help eradicate terrorism in Syria. But I do remember that some Western members of the small group, it's difficult to recall what they have done to launch the political process and create the conditions for that. People love lecturing, but are less reluctant to truly act, and I hope that this will change. We are talking about Syria today, but we do understand very well that we do manage to arrive at a lasting political settlement in this country on the basis, once again, of commitment to its sovereignty and territorial integrity, then this will result in a very positive impact on the region that we need today. And this will help with providing for peace, security, and stability in the Middle East. The time has come to help along, rather than counter, the return of Syria into the Arab family fold. The Syrian people, with the support of Russia inter alia, have seen a decisive victory over terrorism. The main forces of ISIL, Jabhat al-Nusra, whatever its name today, and other terrorist groups acknowledged as such by the Security Council, have been destroyed. By eradicating terrorism, including in Idlib, has to continue whilst expressing concern about life and security of peaceful citizens. We are disappointed that we didn't manage to arrive at consensus when we were discussing Idlib recently. But the blame here is on those who submitted under humanitarian pretext a resolution which had no chance of passing. Of course, we are concerned with the situation in the northeast of Syria, where the sleeper cells of ISIL are becoming more active. We think that stability and security in this region is only ultimately possible provided they return under the control of the legitimate government. It is also unacceptable to enshrine the dividing lines which unfortunately exist in Syria today, in particular under the pretext of the so-called nationwide ceasefire. Having truce with terrorism is something that by definition should not exist, whereas intra-Syrian problems should be decided through a wide, inclusive dialogue. The turn towards a better today in the area of political settlement creates the conditions to ensure steps towards extending a comprehensive humanitarian assistance in post-conflict recovery in Syria. This will help strengthen the economy country and create the conditions for the returnees and IDPs to return to their homes. And that is exactly what our Western partners have been talking about a lot lately, when they literally pleaded about help with launching the Constitutional Committee and presented this as a main precondition for unfreezing funding for post-war recovery. I think it's immoral to accompany new steps towards Damascus with ever new political demands. Once again, towards the end, I would like to talk about joint efforts by international community provided there towards genuine peace instead of serving one's own narrow geostrategic aims. I'm convinced that if we act together, we will be able to do more for Syria and the Syrians than on our own. Thank you. I resume my function as President.